There are many schools that have produced business leaders, community leaders, Rhodes Scholars, like St. Paul's has. However, what sets St. Paul's apart from the rest are the values that St. Paul's instills in its graduates. Values that help those men become more than their profession. Values that help them become men concerned for justice, good fathers, and men for others.
St. Paul's education is more than just what happens in the classroom. 2 or 3 times a year, a member of the community will come up to me and say, you know, they can always recognize St. Paul students, either by the way that they're so friendly, or they're courteous, or simply by the way that they handle themselves. As I said, a St. Paul's education is more than what takes place in the classroom.
In a changing world, St. Paul's High School provides its students with the timeless values and truths of a Catholic education, yet at the same time, it allows them to develop themselves with the adaptability and ingenuity that the Jesuits have become famous for.
Our tradition began in 1548 in Messina, Italy. Since then, we've expanded. We've had so many schools and so much experience, so many Jesuits over the years who have been involved in this process. But now, not just the Jesuits. Jesuits and lay people have formed what the schools are now.
St. Paul's is the perfect school. I find the best mix of discipline, academics, and athletics, and that's exactly what I look for in school.
It was something that I wanted to do since I was a young kid. I've always looked forward to coming to St. Paul's.
My mother told me about St. Paul's High School because my aunt graduated from a Jesuit school in South Korea.
My father went to the school, my brothers went here, as well as my husband. We were very much looking forward to our son being part of the St. Paul's community.
I had heard about all the great times my dad had with all his friends and all the great times that I would have if I came to school.
The type of person that should come to St. Paul's is someone that is open to new ideas, someone that is open to change, and someone that won't sit in the background but will try to participate in the St. Paul's activities, which there are a lot of.
If you want to challenge yourself and if you want to grow as a person, come to St. Paul's.
When we look at students applying to St. Paul's High School, we look for a certain spirit. We want that spirit to be better informed at the end of their 4 years here. When they graduate, we want them to know that spirit so that they take it into the world and use it for the good. We want them to take that spirit, the St. Paul spirit, to bring about a more just society.
The whole Jesuit philosophy is one which will not restrict anybody from coming to the school on financial need.
We make a pledge that no qualified student is prevented from attending St. Paul's for financial reasons. And essentially what that means is that in the admission process, we don't even think about whether a student can afford St. Paul's or not. And then after they're accepted, if they can't afford to come to St. Paul's, they're encouraged to apply for a bursary. And we make sure that those students that could not afford it can attend St. Paul's.
This is all part of the ethos of the school, the whole mood of the school, what it is that we're trying to achieve. We want to take students, give them an opportunity to have a chance at life that perhaps otherwise they wouldn't have.
Part of receiving a modern education is having an understanding of the people around us. And having an understanding of the role that religion plays in the world, I think, is essential to being a very global citizen and a global thinker.
As a Muslim, I was initially apprehensive about coming to a Catholic school, but I quickly found that I was very comfortable with the Jesuit style of education. Instead of detracting from my own faith, I found that St. Paul's encouraged me to really learn more about my own spirituality and in turn share that with other people.
We have here at St. Paul's an incredible variety of cultures and religious backgrounds.
That cross-fertilization of cultures is what I think makes St. Paul's very strong at this time.
The religion program intertwines religion with today's world, and that's where the Christian service program comes into place. It gets you out into the community, helping and volunteering, and they kind of gave me an introduction to what I'm going to be doing after high school, which is volunteering in Africa.
The Ignatian paradigm. It's a way Jesuits and their lay collaborators teach. It's a whole method that comes from the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius.
I find it quite significant that a number of our teachers happen to be graduates.
We care about what we do. We care about what we teach. We care about what the kids take from us. More is caught than taught. Students pay attention to what you do and who you are rather than what you say.
Because I was volunteering in the school a fair bit, I was often walking in the halls, and I noticed that the students and the faculty have quite a unique relationship. There's a camaraderie that exists between.
They knows each other. The students know the teachers know all the students. You can walk down the hallway and say hi to any one young man, and you get a positive response back.
When a student comes into the school, they are part of a much larger community.
And I think that's what St. Paul's does. It makes you feel part of something that's bigger and broader and much more important than what you're just learning.
As soon as your grade 9s come in, the grade 12s are more than happy to participate, and they run retreats, they run extracurriculars, they do everything they can to make sure you feel welcome, because they remember that it's more than just about them, it's about the school.
We're forming an academic, spiritual, intellectual community. You'll find all kinds of communities within the school, but it's not splintered. It has to come together.
It's because they have a sense that they are in fact cared for here at St. Paul's that I think many students are willing to enter into the educational process that we offer so wholeheartedly. And so, we have a very, very strong level of participation in extracurriculars at St. Paul's, I think because of that sense of community.